My name's John Wardle, partner of Wardle Architects, and I'd like to present Burnt Earth Beach House, but starting with acknowledging the traditional owners of the land, the Eastern Marn and the Wadawurrung people in which this house is located, and pay my respects to them and my deep appreciation of their culture. This is a project that was designed entirely during those lockdown years of COVID, generally out of hours and in my own study at home. It's a house that we've owned for many years, a very dilapidated beach house that had reached its lifespan, located on this massive fault that was created by a huge land slippage in the 1920s. That basically links this house to the coastal edge, provides views to the southeast, and the house is really a diagram of then drawing together those two competing factors of views to the south and solar orientation to the north. So many iterations we've caused to draw together a house that then stacked much of the program toward the view and the southeast. So the ground plane has two living spaces, a service court that separates it from bedrooms, but then provide these access to southern views, and then the ingress of light from east round to north and west. And at the first floor, a series of voids are created that then draw together the primary spaces to enjoy view to the south and east, and again looking at modifying the light round through the day into the depth of this large plan. Arranged around a large eucalypt tree, a series of living spaces set around to create this vast open-handed courtyard at the ground floor level, but then creating almost like a cliff edge itself, the programs that would require, appreciate the greatest view are pushed through to the east and to the south. It creates then a roof plan that then draws the water down through to a large opening to the west. I did mention that large fault line which caused huge over expenditure on this house on very cheap land, 56 concrete bore piles and the most extraordinary range of braced steelwork which was never envisaged at the start, and when I did my own cost planning at the start of the project. We did toss it again during the COVID years across a series of staff members, particularly our younger staff members working with GreenSphere at Melbourne University, and we looked at the performance values of the environmental performance of rammed earth, timber, brick and stone, and before finally appreciating the values of brickwork as this wonderful plastic material. The culmination of that diagram I showed you earlier is this cliff edge. So the colour and tonality of the cliff itself became a prime driver for both the material quality and the expression of that form that was created as we stacked up to create our own cliff edge of program up against the view. Working with Krauss bricks, the idea of infusing clay with raw clay with glazes, so a single firing, minimising the use of carbon, was a series of experiments that spanned about a year. And this aspect of applying glaze to raw clay and the serendipitous occurrences that happened along the way was part of this vast adventure. So relationship with two people, Krauss in central Victoria and Minetti in Cotta de Minetti in Greve and Chianti, the oldest terracotta company in Tuscany. So two firms that we've had a long-standing relationship with. So you arrive at the house at this sort of cliff edge face, the double-storey face where the bricks most closely align with the nature of that Anglesea cliff edge, which is at the bottom of that view line diagram I expressed. A single canopy separates the front door from a vast ventilation panel at the top of the scheme that draws the air through the entire house. So centrally located is the kitchen itself with 3 volumes of storage, preparation and cooking that becomes really the centre point of the house. So a house predicted to be multi-generational. The centrepiece, figuratively and literally, is that island bench where everything opens out. So the extended program of living spaces actually spans out from that central island. So on one side, a living space that opens up toward the view and an eastern terrace, and the other side, at the lowest point of the roof form, is the dining room that's oriented due north, And here we see the roof form, this vast voided space that's created up through the central volume. So it does allow then, the whole idea is then this movement of air right up and through the house to the top end. So taking you upstairs, on top of those 3 blocks of space which form the kitchen is this linear study that's 3 metres wide and 9 metres long, spanning with a stainless steel cable system and hand-knotted jute made in Vietnam. So it contains everything you would want in a study and away from the distractions of view and light. Also at that level is a bedroom and further living space, both which oriented toward the ocean views. So then coming back to then this centrepiece of the house, all of the accesses, the primary accesses out through these massive doors off the kitchen, which extends out through to the outdoor living spaces. The bricks became a continual adventure of both purpose-making bricks, minimising wastage by setting together these all the corner bricks, and then looking at this application of glaze. Here best shown during construction, the idea with this first test of glaze where it was sucked into the raw clay, and then the grey blues of the ocean were formed at the base of the walls. So experiments that then spanned a year later, so this outdoor fireplace and sitting area in the garden, pushed between a large eucalypt and the surrounding Banksias, then takes on the colour and tonality of that sort of grubby green of the Banksias and the eucalypts. So again, utilising this colour and tonality related to the different parts of the house where it would be applied. Just before COVID, literally just before COVID, we went and visited Can Lees, possibly my favourite house, Utzon's house on Majorca. And one of the things that really impressed upon me was this outdoor furniture, and here this rather rudimentary arrangement of obviously freely available bathroom tiles that he clothed these beautiful outdoor seats. So as an ode to Utzon, here's my outdoor table where we utilised the floor tiles of the house and took them back to a local ceramicist that we've used for many years, and then reglazed them and the glaze dissipates as you get from the outer rim of the table and head toward the house. So this patterning occurs, which is my very fuzzy ode to Utzon and that wonderful, remarkable house of his. So the house sits firmly in its landscape, much of which we retained from the old garden, which we planted 15 years earlier, but then a substantial amount of replanting. The house utilises, it's 100% electric, it has heat exchange water systems, hydronic heatings, it's double insulated, so there's a further internal 100mm cavity, then a further internal layer of insulation applied before the internal layer of brickwork, so it's highly insulated. Heat exchange systems, hydronic panels on a small subsidiary building will feed that, and then timber utilised very carefully. The only solid new timber is actually on the windows, the rest is either recycled or veneer. And it sits there, this bottom point of that vast roofscape pours water via a small birdhouse. That's another story that we will run out of time to tell you. And the water is then poured onto a rock and down to a small pool to terminate this understanding of the topography from cliff edge to containment with set well within the landscape.
Thanks.
Pleasure.